Hello folks, this is Jim with Science Talk. In this segment, I wish to share with you issues facing coral island areas. Basically, people who live on low-lying coral atolls, they have an issue not just from rising sea levels, but the fresh water may also be at risk. So basically you have sea level that are rising. The sea level can wash over the land, the surface. It could then percolate down through the ground and get into any aquifers, and thereby contaminating the freshwater aquifers, turning them into brine. That's basically the issue that they're facing. And if this were to happen, many of the coral atolls within a generation may become uninhabitable. And that, of course, then creates a lot of climate refugees. Now, many of these low-lying areas in the Indian and Pacific Ocean are about 2 meters above sea level. That's really not that much. Now, even if sea levels were to rise 1 meter, but I have done some recent segments where the Thwaites Glacier in Antarctica undergoes a drastic melting. Sea level rises could be much, much more than 1 meter. So right now, the consideration here of 1 meter is basically a best case scenario, believe it or not. So, as I just mentioned, rising sea levels, washing over, storm surges, whatever, can introduce salt water into the aquifers, basically introducing brine, making it non-potable. So, U.S. scientists report in the journal Science Advances that they looked at in fine detail the consequences of one group of atoll dwellers on the Roy Namur, which is in the Kwajalein Atoll in the Republic of the Marshall Islands. And they looked at that, but there, we got just to give you some numbers here, 1,100 low-lying islands, 29 atolls in the group, home to hundreds of thousands of people. So the researchers looked at the projections for gradual sea level rise, but focused also on the dynamics of waves as the seas continue to rise. And as ever higher waves, driven by storms that are more energetic, because as you warm up the surface waters, that provides energy to the systems, and thereby increasing the force by which they move about, deliver water, winds, and so forth. And of course, these energetic storms could just wash over a whole bunch of things. So, as I mentioned before, these waves can infiltrate the aquifers, introducing brine, making it not drinkable. You can, and also coast dwellers and people of the lowest lying islands have the most to lose from climate change, starting with the ground they live on. Not only as sea level rise, you lose where you can live, but now the issue of the fresh water. So, they didn't just look at the Marshall Islands. They also looked at settled atolls in the Caroline, the Cook, the Lion, and Society Islands. They looked at the Maldives, they looked at the Seychelles, and the Hawaiian Islands. All could be vulnerable. And then, okay, in addition to that, these are basically the first indicators of things bad happening. But then let's go worldwide to all the coastal cities. State of Florida. Okay, coastal cities, in Denmark and so on. They're all at risk. Any coastal cities are all at risk from sea level rise. The tipping point when potable groundwater on a majority of atoll islands will be unavailable is projected to be reached no later than the middle of the 21st century, basically 2050. This is a statement from Kurt Storlazzi, who is of the U.S. Geological Survey and led the research. The damage from flooding to the island's homes, stores, and workshops, combined with the loss of fresh water, will start to make human habitation difficult in many such islands between 2030 and 2060, and continued thereafter. Either the islanders must find the money to secure their water supply and protect their homes, or they must abandon their homelands. Now, I mentioned earlier, wave action moving over the land, especially when helped along by sea level rise and energetic storms. Well, we actually have a term for that. We call it overwash. And this is when great waves splash right across the narrow atolls. They're becoming more frequent, more damaging, and doing what I've mentioned. The overwash events generally result in salty ocean water seeping into the ground, contaminating freshwater aquifer, as I've mentioned several times already. Rainfall later in the year is not enough to flush out the salt water and refresh the island's water supply before the next year's storms arrive. Repeating the overwash events, said Stephen Gingrich of the U.S. Geological Survey, a co-author on the study. But also keep in mind, the salt water will be denser, so it will sink. So if you add fresh water, the fresh water will have the ability to flush out the water that is denser and has sunk to the bottom. That is quite difficult to do via natural percolation patterns and so forth. So that's another issue that would have to be overcome. Now, could they pump it out? That is not as easy as it sounds. You would need some expensive equipment to do so, and even then you're not guaranteed to get all the salt water out there because of the crevices and other places that water can be found in the aquifers. So this is an interesting problem. Not interesting. It's a major problem that these islanders are facing. And again, another one of those situations of one of the consequences of climate change. Thank you for your time. We'll talk soon. Hey folks, just a reminder to please subscribe and click the bell so you know when I drop a video. Please share my videos. Please tell others of my channel and of the work that I do. I also hope that you will consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/Science Talk with Jim Massa, where from time to time I upload videos there exclusively for my patron subscribers. Details in the description box below. Thanks.